Tesla finally moves forward with Gigafactory Nevada expansion and 4680 cells. It has now been a whole year since the original announcement to expand the factory. The new area is in yellow that's supposed to be built. So at last, finally, groundbreaking is happening, and hopefully construction moves forward and does not just abruptly stop in the middle. The potential for the Tesla Semi is absolutely huge. It's very possible that what we just saw was just Tesla expanding the parking lot because it needs to basically essentially move the parking lot to make space for new construction. Tesla told employees at the groundbreaking event that the new section for Tesla Semi is actually going to be a new building separate to the existing one. So maybe the final building will look a bit different from this. Did someone just seriously put 10,000 miles on a Cybertruck already? Wow. The review comes from a Cybertruck Owners Club forum member, Gigahorse, and the Cybertruck all-wheel drive is rated at 340 miles, but of course that's not real world range, so we would never expect the Cybertruck to get 300 miles in real-world conditions. After 10,000 miles, the owner reported the Cybertruck's maximum range on a full charge was 206 miles and 164 miles at an 80% charge. But he said that he drove fairly aggressively, which definitely reduces your range. It doesn't say anything about the weather, so it could be that he's driving in cold, which further negatively affects the range. For now, charging can be a bit of an issue. Charging speeds, especially at older V2 superchargers, were less than ideal, taking up to 2 hours to fully charge the 123 kilowatt hour battery. The newer V3 superchargers improved this somewhat, but a full charge still required over an hour. Never charge to a full battery unless you absolutely really need to do that. Just charge to maybe 80%, 70%, and then go on with your road trip and then stop again when you need to stop. The owner praised the vehicle's exceptional sound system, comfortable cooled seats, and the overall driving experience. The truck's handling, acceleration, and steer-by-wire system also received positive feedback, which is what we would expect. However, the Cybertruck's attention-drawing design was a double-edged sword, with the owner sometimes feeling less enthusiastic about the constant public curiosity. If you buy a vehicle like a Cybertruck, yeah, I mean, for the first 6 to 12 months, definitely expect some people looking at your vehicle. 4 years from now, 5 years from now, I don't think it's going to be a big deal, really. Maybe somewhat, but not really. But for now, yeah, you're getting yourself into a vehicle that will definitely draw a lot of attention. So you can't really say it's a negative because you know what you're getting into. Insurance costs for the vehicle were said to be reasonable at $465 per month for 2 drivers with clean records. However, the ownership experience was not without its hiccups. Issues like the main screen blacking out and the non-waterproof bedwall were notable concerns. Non-waterproof bedwall. Maybe his Cybertruck is defective. There's a video here right after raining. They opened the cover and...
Aha! It's dry.
That looks very dry.
Except for what just dripped off the top.
Yeah, got a little bit of rain over there.
That might not have been the best test. It would have been better to take it to a car wash place. But we did see Tesla testing the Cybertruck before delivery started, and there was a lot of water in there. So if your Cybertruck bed leaks, I think it's because it's defective, not because that's how it's designed. And naturally, with early production, I certainly expect some defects, which over time would be solved. Supposedly for Cybertruck production, there is an ambitious goal internally, and I'm not sure, but maybe this expectation of 80 to 100,000 deliveries in 2024 is based on that ambitious goal. I'm not sure about it, but I thought I would pass it along to all of you guys. But I agree with James, anecdotal of course, but seems like Cybertruck production is doing well. From all the invitations to configure going out, we should expect an update on the ramp next week on the earnings call. And next year, we could see some nice cash flow from Cybertruck. We see 88 job postings for the Cybertruck. Supply chain expert Jeff says, yep, my guess is they are turning an entire new shift on and then some. We know that Franz, who is Tesla's chief of design, is visiting China, and we got a few pieces of information about his visit. He says that Tesla is integrating the unique needs of Chinese consumers into product design. If you didn't know, Tesla has an R&D center in Shanghai, which has 28 laboratories. There's this new article in China. Seems like Tesla is a lot more aggressive with its sales in China. Tesla conducts real-time monitoring of sales in China and adopts aggressive management strategies. This article is based on an interview with a salesperson who left Tesla and joined a new force not a long time ago. So this could be a bit biased if he was fired, but he says that he left Tesla. Anyway, he says that Tesla adopted a high-pressure sales strategy. Seems like Tesla wants each person to sell about 2 cars per day, and they basically check in on all of the salespeople every single day, whereas before Tesla expected 5 sales per week, and they only checked in once per week instead of every day. It seems that Tesla does not really expect every single employee to actually meet that target. It's more of an aspiration from what I'm getting here, but they basically have a meeting at the end of every single day to find out what's not good, if there is a problem and someone does not perform regularly. And it seems to me that Tesla paying more attention to its salespeople in China did contribute to the last record in China. Overall, Tesla is not so much monitoring as it is reviewing the performance. And I think James is right. I don't think the people working in North American service centers have these sort of KPIs unless something changed recently. It seems like Tesla might be expanding further in China currently. There are 400 jobs listed. In California, you can now test drive the refreshed Model 3. Hopefully, it's coming to Vancouver very soon too. I want to test drive this vehicle myself. The Mexican governor says that Tesla should begin its factory construction in Q1 of 2024. There's this new article that basically says that he has not been a reliable source of news about this project, so I would be a bit skeptical, but hopefully it is the case. The construction starts in Q1. Did Gary Black just call Elon Musk foolish? I don't think so, but you could possibly make that argument. I don't agree with the Tesla price cut, says Gary. I have consistently said management is wrong to cut prices by more than the cost of goods sold reductions. The price cuts are not rational if competitors all match them and Tesla gets zero volume benefit. I thought by now Elon would learn from his mistakes, but maybe he'll keep doing the wrong thing under the misplaced belief he can cut EV prices to zero margin and make it up on FSD subscriptions. I don't believe Elon Musk is that foolish. I don't agree with the argument that Tesla gets zero incremental volume increases when Tesla does price cuts. Because if Tesla keeps doing that, at some point, the competitors cannot cut any more because they would just keep losing money indefinitely, forever. But Tesla's margins overall in the EV space are the highest, so Tesla can cut the most. It has been a little while now since Tesla posted this job opening for a campaign manager, so we might see a bigger ad campaign from Tesla sometime soon. And if it's really successful, then we might see price increases. Price cuts were bullish when they cut in January 2023 because we all thought, me included, says James, that volume would grow enough to prevent further cuts while margin would stabilize as costs dropped. And you may recall at the time I said I was jumping back into Tesla stock after having sold in December, which was the right call, generally speaking. It stopped being bullish when we saw a second round of cuts in April. I also started criticizing the pricing strategy at the time because I saw what was coming. And we all saw what Tesla's earnings have done since. And James says it's actually quite impressive that Tesla's stock isn't down even more than it is, to be honest. I personally think the reason why Tesla's stock did not go down more is because the stock market overall went up over 20% in one single year. And Nasdaq went up 50%, more than 50%. Wall Street's 2024 consensus is roughly 2.2 million deliveries for next year. And it appears to me that Gary Black lowered his estimate for 2024 deliveries. At one point, he was estimating about 2.7 million. Now he seems to be down closer to 2.2 million. I cannot find exactly where he says that, but he did reply to this comment, so I'm assuming he is at 2.2 million. I know some think that Tesla will deliver substantially more than 2.2 million still, so if you think that, there's definitely a lot of upside here, but I'm not so sure if, this year is going to be slow, I think, relatively slow for Tesla's deliveries, but the deliveries will accelerate again when the next generation vehicle comes out. Just a friendly reminder to everyone that Tesla does not go up regularly and consistently year over year. Generally speaking, it goes up in big spurts and then it stays flat. And of course, I am buying regularly during this period. James has changed his opinion on this matter. My thesis on long-term EV market is changing. I used to think EVs would bankrupt legacy automakers and that there would be considerable consolidation in the market. I no longer expect this to happen. The reason for this change: governments have pivoted to align EV incentives with plug-in hybrids. Just look at the IRA for a good example. Canada too offers the same incentives for EVs as it does for plug-in hybrids. Plug-in hybrids are the legacy lifeline, and legacy auto brands are very good at advertising and education, something Tesla refuses to do. Well, that might change, perhaps. Since Tesla's share of voice is non-existent, the consumer only hears one story. This will ultimately hurt Tesla longer term as the consumer increasingly chooses plug-in hybrid EVs over ICE and EV. And since Tesla is the only pure EV manufacturer with any size outside of China, it is unlikely to influence government policy when the balance of the industry, for example, everyone else, is still building ICE. So what does this mean? More competition and more division of profits among industry players. The wild card, of course, though, is FSD. If FSD works, this changes everything. I found this video that shows that new feature that displays the countdown of the traffic lights in China. I wish we had something like that here as well. That's a really cool feature. Dave Lee has been posting a bit more. I like that. Elon Musk often gets criticized, but I respect his willingness to take on risk and stress to be helpful. In contrast, many people with wealth use their money to avoid stress by cutting down on responsibility and risk. I actually did that for a little while after I made my money. That kind of life is just not for me. I need to stay busy. I need to keep moving forward. I need to be doing something that I know is valuable to our society. Dave says, it's something I found myself asking this morning. Am I using wealth to try to avoid stress in my life? And if so, is that reducing my impact on others in the world? And I think the answer to that question is probably yes in Dave's case. Dave was very successful earlier. He had this successful App Store app. I think he still has it, but I don't think it takes much time for him to run it. The American dream used to be a white picket fence and house in the suburbs. I wonder now if that dream has evolved, morphed into an aspiration for a stress-free life. I think renting is a lot less stressful than owning a house. Owning a house, something breaks, roof leaks, you need to take care of it. Construction crew, dealing with construction workers, that is stressful. For my healthcare business, I had to do a huge renovation, and that was a bit stressful. You cannot just let everyone do their thing. You have to double check because it's a bit wild how even some of the simplest things can be messed up. The construction crew that we had, generally they did a very good job with mostly everything, and they were doing so well that I didn't really double check any of their HVAC work. And then the summer came, we turned on the HVAC air conditioning, and we get a leak. And we're trying to figure out what's happening, and it turns out they duct taped a few parts of the HVAC. It was such a stupid mistake. I got a bit lucky how I caught it. If I didn't, then there would have been a lot of damages. We would have had to close the whole business for I don't know, a week or 2 weeks, and that would have been not good at all. Steven says, in my opinion, 99.999% of humans would break under the pressure Musk volunteers for in the pursuit of having a positive impact on the world. You have to respect that, and I do, definitely. Musk basically says, this is important and I would like to help, but I will suffer immensely trying. Signs up for Max Payne. Again, Musk's AI startup secures $500 million toward a $1 billion funding goal, but Elon Musk just said that this news report is false. Maybe there were some talks, but nothing was actually done. This is an article from Reuters. Musk and investors are expected to finalize terms in the next couple of weeks, and some parties are evaluating whether they can get computing power in addition to, or in some cases instead of, XAI equity shares, Bloomberg reported. And supposedly XAI might already be worth $15 to $20 billion. That's a lot. Imagine starting a side project on the side and now it's worth billions of dollars in less than a year. Someone is asking, when will Tesla enter South Africa? And Elon says that import duties are super high in South Africa to protect the domestic industry, so it doesn't make sense for Tesla, given that electric cars are not locally made, to enter that market. As of today, for how much longer do you intend on holding Tesla stock? 1 to 5 years? Only 14% of the people that follow Steven. I think I'm going to do the same poll as well on my YouTube channel. The majority of the people said that they are going to hold Tesla stock for 10 or more years. I would fall into that category, by the way. Oh, Stellantis takes a jab at Tesla, warns EV price cuts could cause a bloodbath. Stellantis CEO says that it will avoid a race to the bottom and is not going to cut EV prices. But it's easy for Stellantis to take a jab at Tesla over price cuts because it doesn't sell any EVs in the US yet. Mark Zuckerberg says that Meta is basically building massive, gigantic supercomputers. ARK Invest analyst says this is wild. 600,000 H100s equals roughly 8 times Tesla's roadmap by end of 2024, assuming that one H100 is 4 A100s. So what is Facebook going to do with so much compute? Elon says it's not clear, but it's something to follow. Dylan is finally going to buy a Tesla vehicle. He's going to get a Model Y, and he's deciding between a refreshed Model Y, maybe wait a little bit longer, or maybe buy one right now. He's afraid that no stocks on the new one are not going to be great for him because he lives in an area with roundabouts. Alex, though, says that he's been driving a Model S Plaid for 13 months and he never had a single issue not having stocks, be it in roundabouts or anywhere else. Not sure what others do when driving, but stocks are not needed. And he really loves not having stocks. He says, I love it and won't buy a car again ever that has stocks. My friend has a Model X and I haven't asked him about the stock issue for quite a while now. I'm going to ask him today and I'll let you guys know what he says after having the vehicle now for about a year. He absolutely hated not having stocks in the beginning. It wasn't just an inconvenience. He despised Tesla doing so, and he almost swore not to ever buy a Tesla vehicle ever again. Dylan also seems to be a bit worried about turning on windshield wipers without stocks. The windshield wipers are no longer a problem after multiple software updates. They are not ideal yet. When I think about it, maybe 70% of the time I'm not making any adjustments and I'm just on the auto mode and it works okay. Once you press the windshield wiper button, you have these settings that pop up, making it fairly easy to change the speed. But occasionally, when I need to change the windshield wiper setting, something happens suddenly. If you were able to quickly double tap the windshield wiper button, and if that increased the speed or just went to the next setting of windshield wipers, I think that's what, for me personally at least, it would solve all the windshield wiper issues. Then I can control the windshield wipers without using my voice and without looking away from the road. That's it for today's episode. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.